welcome to this channel. This is the Eradicator, and today I will tell you what I think are the 10 most annoying pitfalls you can fall into right now in the current state of the game. More after the following message. This month we're having a giveaway. Guess what, guys? It's the anniversary of the channel. That's right, I started working on this channel last year at the same period, and I really want to give back, guys, everything you've given to me, all that love, all that support, these comments. Really, you're making this possible, and the least I could do is to organize this giveaway. I am going to give away a 325A with lifetime insurance. I've actually unmelted this one back in January, as you can see. I already had this giveaway in plan and in mind, and it's happening. So all you need to do is to subscribe to this channel and comment one of the videos that are going to be posted this month in February. What I'm going to do next on March 4th at 2 p.m. Beijing time. Mark this down in your calendar. March 4th, 2 p.m. Beijing time. There will be a lucky draw. It will be live streamed, so we can know live which video is going to be the winning video and which comments from that winning video is going to get that magnificent 325A with LTI. Good luck to everybody. Again, thank you so much. This is the Eradicator, and you are watching my channel. Alright, so here we go, guys. 10 pitfalls to avoid in the game, and we're going to start slowly with our number 10, not paying attention to the chat in-game. Despite all the efforts made by CIG to encourage people to speak with their actual voice in-game with voice over IP, people still use the text chat a lot and often communicate about their intentions or the status of specific locations such as Junetown or Security Port Carré. Paying attention to the chat is therefore a good way to know if people are blockading your destination or asking you a ransom for the ship they hijacked. Oftentimes, people also get stranded and would offer you a reward for a pickup. People also complain about the servers dying, which is another great piece of information you want to be aware of, as you don't want to experience a disconnect if you are planning to fly to, say, Aberdeen with a hold full of medical supplies you won't be able to sell due to the terminals not responding. So, make sure to always keep an eye on the game chat to know what's going on in the verse. This could literally save your life. Number 9. Not always refueling. At this current stage, quantum driving can be extremely fuel consuming, especially if you are using larger ships to travel larger distances. For example, with a fully fuel-filled Constellation, you'll be able to do round trips between Crusader and Hurston's, but you won't be able to make a second one. That's why carefully managing your fuel is extremely important, as you don't want to end up being stranded at some outpost with all of your assets in your cargo hold. Sure, in the future there will be some kind of refueling game mechanics, but we are still quite far from its implementation in the game, and even by then, waiting for a Starfire to refuel you will cost you a lot of time and money. So, it's always going to be worth the effort to always refuel whenever you have a chance to. Number 8. Spending all of your money in trade. You've probably read and heard countless times that spending all of your money in trade is not a recommended move, and I agree with that statement, but not for the same reasons as what the majority says. People often say that you might get killed by griefers, pirates, and lose everything in the process. You may also crash the desktop or get a disconnection error. These things happen, and for the most part, there's nothing you can do to stop them from happening. However, as frustrating as they may be, it is still relatively easy to get back to your feet and get your money back, if we are not talking about hundreds of thousands of Alpha UEC, of course. The real reason why I think you should keep some Alpha UEC is if your ship sustains damage due to poor landing, for example, or if you run out of fuel and you want to refuel only to realize you don't have enough money to refuel. That is one of the most frustrating situations that can happen to you in a game, because that would be entirely your fault, and you could have easily avoided such an unfortunate predicament. Number 7. The uncontrolled approach. Descending from the upper to the lower layers of the atmospheres of the different celestial bodies present in Star Citizen takes time and can be tedious for those who don't have the patience for such things. If starting a descent at full speed is a must, anything the size of a constellation or below need to decrease their speed by the 10 km mark and then deploy landing gear and fly at 50 meters per second when there's only 1 kilometer to go. These distances of course significantly increase as you decide to fly bigger ships like a Caterpillar or a Starfire. And because it takes time to get to a surface outpost or landing zone, it can be tempting to hit Alt-Tab and do something else while your ship descends. Or so you think. By the time you get back in the game, it is going to be too late. You will be descending too fast, and you won't have time to reverse thrusters on time to correct your course, and you will inexorably be bound for the rocky surface of your planetary destination. At best, your shields will protect you, and you will just be able to bounce back to acceptable latitudes, or at worst, it will be the end of the road for you, your ship, your hull, and your life. How unfortunate. Number 6. The stupid CRIMESTAT. So, let's say you want to make a little bit of cash, but you don't have enough time to complete a full trade run. What could you possibly do? Well, it turns out that the Corée FPS mission can grant you 3,250 Alpha UEC in just a few minutes. How tempting is that? Well, soon you will realize you won't be the only one to have figured this out, and you will enter a possibly rather crowded security post Corée. Some people will just go there to hack the terminals and reduce their crime stats. Don't kill them unless they are wanted. You can either guess that they are wanted by seeing their orange marked ship outside, or if they have a bounty. If that's the case, go for it. If not, you will be wanted if you kill them, even if they attack you first. If they do, run and try to tell them out of killing you. It often works. There are also some people who will just go there for the same NPCs as you do, competing against you for the same mission. Keep in mind that if you decide to eradicate the competition, you will be given a crime stat too, and that you will have to get rid of it. So you want to make sure you want to stay out of trouble. Number 5. Throwing a weapon when not fighting. Unlike in some mainstream arcade first-person shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefront, in Star Citizen, when you die with your weapon in your hands, you lose your weapon too, which is something that, on the long run, can end up costing you a lot of money. Make sure you only draw your gun when you're about to fight. If you feel you are getting into a fight you can't win, press quickly N to stow your gun before you die. This will spare you the effort and the money to buy a new one. You also want to do that before climbing a ladder too, as by now you should know how deadly they can be. Number 4. Not paying attention to your hangar/landing pad. This one certainly won't make you lose all of your assets, but it can nonetheless make you waste a lot of time. While Lorville and Levski's ship terminals do tell you where your ship is parked, the rest stop terminals will just tell you that they are on pad. That can particularly become a pain if you have multiple deliveries to do. In such a scenario, you must make sure you are done before the station stores your ship. This would make any delivery boxes located within your ship disappear, resulting in a withdrawal of your contract and any hopes of making tens of thousands of Alpha UECs shattered. So make sure you double or even triple check where your hangar or your landing pad is, as it would really save you a lot of trouble. Number 3. Using the MOBIGLASS when carrying a delivery box. As of now, there is a bug that makes delivery boxes disappear every time they touch anything that is not the floor of a spaceship, including the trunk of a Cyclone. It's very important to keep that in mind because you may very well feel the urge to check your MOBIGLASS while being in the middle of a delivery mission, for whatever reason. It happened to me many times. This will result in your character to drop your delivery box to focus on the verse's most popular device, resulting in your box disappearing, resulting in your contract being withdrawn. Great. Number 2. Exposing yourself to griefers. Let's face it guys, there will always be griefers in Star Citizen because that's just how life is. There are people out there who simply enjoy causing trouble at the expense of your fun or your hard work. Can we stop them from acting this way? Well, as long as they don't break the rules, the answer is no. Can we be smarter than them and simply avoid them? Yes. Griefers usually hang around the most populated places of Earth, such as Port Olisar or Grimex. Fortunately, these are protected by an armistice zone that disables any weapon. Any ship located near the landing pads is therefore out of range of any forms of weapon. If you want to travel anywhere safely, just hover over your landing pad, activate your quantum drive, and jump to your destination. There is nothing these griefers will do about it, and it's just that easy. And number 1, not checking your ship before taking off. As you could see in one of my previous live streams, it is very easy for anyone to sneak into your ship without even noticing them. We usually focus on what's in our direct field of vision without paying attention to what is happening behind our backs. Always make sure to check your SIGs before entering a ship to prevent any uninvited visitors from following you. It goes without saying that when you visit a location, you should always close your ship too as you leave it. If you hear any suspicious noise in your ship, leave your pilot seat at once and patrol it. Keep your eyes peeled and your finger on the trigger of your gun. Make sure to check the turrets out, as pirates tend to like to hide in those. Once you see any intruder, kill them with no hesitation. If you don't, they will most likely kill you anyway. And that's it for my top 10 pitfalls to avoid in Star Citizen. If you like this channel's content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, as it really does help the channel. You can also support the channel on Patreon to enter all of our giveaways, get your questions answered on the show, and more. Speaking of which, it is now time to answer a question from one of the Eradicators who support the channel on Patreon. Gargotron asks, how did you first come in contact with Star Citizen? Well, Gargotron, that's actually a very good question. It happened a long time ago, back in 2012. I've always been a fan of, space sims and space opera. Huge fan of Chris Robert games like Wing Commanders, and especially my all-time favorite is Freelancer. So when I heard that a new Freelancer type of game was about to be created by Chris Roberts, I immediately went to check it out. Unfortunately, I heard it about a month after it was announced, so I came in too late, which is why I backed in November 2012 and not in October 2012. I mean, if I had known that something was happening, I probably would have been a golden ticket holder and I would have backed on day one, but unfortunately that's not the case. So I think, if I remember, I read a news article on about Star Citizen in a French website called jeuxvideo.com. Yeah, I think they talked about it a lot back in these days. That's where I learned about it. And I bought a Constellation package back in these days at $250. That was really crazy. I had never spent so much money on a video game back in these days, but I've been gradually supporting the project more and more and more. Of course, is Star Citizen exactly what we were promised at the beginning? Of course not. It's very different. Is it worth the wait? I absolutely think it is. Even the technical demo we have right now is blowing me away every time I get into the game. It's so immersive, so gorgeous. It's very fun, and it feels so immersive. I don't regret anything, but yeah, it was a long time ago. I mean, I haven't even met my wife when I heard about the project. Now I'm married, I have 2 kids, so it's really it's been a long time, and I probably think my son is going to be old enough to play when the game is going to be released. So it's quite an adventure. I wouldn't say the adventure of a lifetime, but it's definitely an adventure that is a part of our lives if you are really into it and following the project. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Gargotron. And if you also want your questions to be answered live like Gargotron, don't forget to check our Patreon page. We have lots of different things that we can offer you. You can participate in the giveaways, have your questions answered, and many more things. This is the Eradicator. I'm signing out.